Bottom Line, weekdays on LDB TV, presented by LDB Media Corp. What's up, guys? How you doing? This is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. This is The Bottom Line. Thank you for all you listeners that are listening and all those that are watching. I appreciate you enjoying the show and supporting the show. However, we're about to get into some good movie news. Shang-Chi, excuse me, butchering the name already, Shang-Chi and the Legends of the Ten Rings supersede expectations this past Labor Day weekend. Second record-breaking box office of Labor Day in history, and right now they are going forward with this character and all its trimmings and special effects put together. I personally myself have not seen the movie, but when it's be available, when it's time's available, when I get the time, I will see the movie. Now, trying to compare scenes to scenes, I cannot do that because I have not seen the movie. But I can give you some numbers. Right now, this movie is doing gangbusters. Me, particularly trying to understand how blockbusters work in Hollywood, especially when released in theater mode. When in theaters, when a blockbuster at this caliber gets released, and when you see the numbers that it's make in its first opening weekend, it's pretty much that's front loaded. The movie's got front loaded the first weekend. So now, my only concern going forward with movies like this, the first weekend is where the gangbuster blockbuster numbers come to play. Now, the second week, we have to see what it's going to do from now Tuesday to Saturday. So now from Tuesday to Saturday, this is where the analytics and the numbers and understand the legginess of this movie. If it's going to be a leggy movie, a theater run, or will this movie just splutter like Black Widow did in its theater run in its first and second weeks? Because Black Widow failed hard. I think it was 87% the second weekend drop off that the Black Widow fell off. I'm looking at this and saying this is a hit, and I think everybody else is saying the same thing. See, if you're reading the reports, I'm gonna get my status quotes from Deadline.com. Broke the Labor Day box office record with a 3-day $75.5 million haul. Now, when it says broke, it means that it's the second record-breaking Labor Day total in haul and box office history. So that's good. The record holder right now still goes to the Butler with Forrest Whitaker. So the thing is, that movie still holds the record for Labor Day record. So blockbuster purposes. So 3 days, $75.5 million. That's impressive for a new IP, but it's Marvel. And the 4-day massive record breaking of 90 million for the Labor Day stretch per Disney. That's according to Deadline.com. So this movie in 4 days almost hit $1 million. And normally, if the pandemic era was not in place right now, the movie would have did better. It would been bigger, and the numbers would have been bigger. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, wow, this movie could did so much more if this pandemic was not here. But the pandemic is here. It is reality. So now that since it's reality, is doing things that unprecedented at this time in this era in the pandemic movement. So it's crazy, man. So shout out to Disney, shout out to Marvel Studios, and then the estimates today, and that was today meant yesterday on Labor Day, was 16.2 million, while Disney is figuring out 14.5 million. That's according to Deadline.com. So they're reporting that on the 4 days, the 16.2 million and the 14.5 million projecting between the industry and projecting towards Disney, is going to propel it probably even past the 90 million threshold mark. So that's pretty impressive for a new IP. It's Disney, so Disney know-how. Disney and Marvel. Excuse me, I had to correct myself. Disney and Marvel knows how to get things going, know how to take a property and the idea and put it out there. And so, was it risky? Was it an experiment? Like it's like the little debate was in the media between the star and the executives of Disney. But Disney is also having this release 45 days release. It's a 45-day theater release. These the CEOs and the executives behind it said it was an experiment. So they're trying new things and trying to get this movie to people across the world, even the ones that are at home that do not that is not going to watch this movie at all until it comes on Disney Plus and available free. They'll check it out. See me, I might check it out in the theaters while this 45-day window still open, or I might just wait to Disney Plus. But anyway, the movies did great this weekend. And speaking of COVID, compared to this movie, man, I think that it's tried its best to stand out amongst the rest. People keep calling it the Asian Black Panther, which I think that's very stereotypical of describing a movie and even the source material. I think that's very, very stereotyping this movie and just putting it down for no reason. People are going to be people. So looking at the restraints. When I say restraints, what's going against the movie, the COVID era, budgeting, people scared at the houses in their homes, scared to go out to the theaters, and then there's people that are not afraid to go to theaters, and there's vaccinated people that hey, I'm ruining the world right now, so they're going to the theaters full fledged. So the COVID vaccine card policing across the nation, it's starting strongly in California. If you're not vaccinated, you're not getting to theaters, and you got to start showing your little vaccination card and showing proof that you're vaccinated so you can even occupy the theater. And that's crazy. That that's coming worldwide, statewide, nationwide soon. So I hope it don't hit Texas. So anyway, you know, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco was the biggest players with this movie. A lot of Asian Americans came out. 18% Asian Americans from Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver, and Honolulu. 18% was Asian Americans coming out into root this movie on. So right now, man, I'm pretty impressed with this. I'm pretty impressed with this. So the COVID, really have a big factor besides not a mass movement in the theaters, but it did great. It did great according to reports and everything else. So I appreciate what the Hollywood's trying to do with this movie and what Marvel and Disney Marvel, how you want to put it. They're doing great things and they showing the fans that if you come out, you will be satisfied. And going forward, I think that this movie is going to have some long and lengthy legs, even overseas. Total global, total global record for Labor Day is 140 million. And I'm just like, man, just think about the numbers. Just think about it. Just think about if this movie in the international box office, if COVID was not in play, how big this movie had been and how much it would play into, the overall Hollywood box office for the weekend. So it's currently 19% higher. It's Labor Day weekend, that is 19% higher than it was in 2019 Labor Day. So that tells you what this movie, if the pandemic was not in place, what kind of business this movie would have made. And right now, Shang Chi and or Shang Chi, however you want to pronounce it, you know, in the Legend of the Ten Rings globally, 56.2 million overseas frame. Labor Day record is 83.5 million for the 4 day domestic season, 7.5 million in 3 day combined, and including the Labor Day estimate, the worldwide total is 139.7 million. Stripping out Monday's domestic forecast, the weekend comes in at 127.6 million global if you don't add Monday's total to it. So that's big business. Big business. 41 offshore markets. The first Asian Marvel superhero ever was number one in all markets across the world. And that is amazing. That's crazy. And when you look at this, you're like, wow. Well, actually, I can't say it's crazy, but it's Marvel and Disney. They're doing big bud business. They're doing their thing. They're doing the thing. Even during the time of pandemic, when you should be praying in the house, drinking and a lot of water and building your immune system. Here comes Hollywood. Hollywood comes out with bangers, and if people are interested, if they're liking it, they're gonna come out and see it. So all hats to Disney and Marvel on that. They know how to market a movie, know how to push it out, actually down your throat to watch it. So it's still pretty cool because I'm a Marvel fan. So storytelling, connectivity, and everything. So I'm looking at this. Now I'm looking at the overseas tally of all the nations, I mean all the countries and the little countries here and there that it was played: Russia, France, even Korea, Japan, Hong Kong, India, and Thailand. You know what I'm saying? It was the highest, second highest grosses in their respective countries. And that's pretty cool, man. And you know, the Asian Pacific, even just showed up for this movie. 17.5 million in Asia alone watched this movie. Regardless, China put the star down, saying it was ugly, too ugly to star, and to represent the Asian American or Asian culture fully, for China. And that was kind of cold to put that out there, but it's out there. So, but I don't think there was a factor because I'm not judging the dude for what his looks like. He came, he got paid, and he's doing his thing. So guess what? He's doing what he's supposed to do. And right now, he is now an Avenger. He is now a Marvel icon. People come out, they're gonna see this movie. I think the second week of this movie, if it has great legs and the percentage don't drop so badly, if it drops like 35 to 45% on the second weekend, this movie is gonna do well at the box office. If Disney decides not to pull it from the 45-day theater experience window. So I want to see how much legs this movie could do and how much business it can pay and perform. Australia is pretty much 7% closed from theaters. The theaters, so really the numbers still are fluctuating right now. And IMAX has grossed 13.2 million worldwide. That's 13.2 million worldwide IMAX. So it sets the global Labor Day weekend opening record. Internationally, the film took in 5.2 million for IMAX on 391 screens in 66 countries. Six of these set pandemic era debut weekend records, while additional seven countries had their second best pandemic era start, including the UK and Brazil. It's a lot of ratings out there. Rotten Tomatoes got it at a certain percentage, and we'll go over Rotten Tomato score of all top 10 movies this weekend that's out and still performing. We'll go over their Rotten Tomato score in a few minutes. Now, in China, despite not yet being released, the film already has a 7.7. That's the rating. Black Widow, which has also not released in China, markets carry at 6.3. So it's already higher than Black Widow in China, regardless it haven't been released yet. Now, on the one market which underperformed this session was Korea, which that's kind of odd and ironic, which typically loves Marvel. However, the pandemic, COVID-19 plays a big part in most of these regions and territories, showing theaters, opening theaters, and stuff like that. Right now, Korea, which is a big supporter of Marvel movies, typically underperform. So, wow, that's something to look at. So going forward, you know, overseas help as well. And the fair amount of runaway ahead of Shang, which is looking at a potential 3.5 multiplier overseas. This movie seems like it might have long legs overseas because once you release it over here on DVD, don't mean there's gonna be on DVD overseas internationally. So moving forward, so China is the last market, and not the last, but one of the markets that has not opened up yet. So if Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi will release in China, Disney's got to hit that market as 20th Century Fox's Free Guy is still number one over there, still breaking records over there too. So these movies, they're the top 10 right now in the theaters right now, doing blockbuster numbers right now. They are doing pretty well and helping the box office overall recover just a little bit. So that's pretty cool right there. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Internationally, some of these movies that's been still that are out right now, like Jungle Cruise, Don't Breathe 2. These movies percentage overseas is what helping the movie gain back its money. Gain back its money, money, money. So it's real cool to see that. It's real nice to see that. So going forward, I believe that if Marvel keeps pushing this stuff out, get what I'm saying? Keeps pushing this stuff out, it's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy. Especially you're targeting things. Cause this movie yesterday on Monday has earned 18.9 million. That was yesterday. So that means there's over the 90 million threshold right now. That means it's 94 million. 94 million. 94 million that this movie has made in 4 days. That means by today or tomorrow, this movie will be past $100 million, and that's impressive, very impressive, very impressive indeed, very impressive. So my hands out, my hat tips to Disney Marvel. You created a hit. Now, people, we want to see more Disney. We want to see more. We want to see more, and that means the global total is over 140 million too. It's not 40 million. It's over 140, maybe 41, 42. So that this movie is on the right track. This movie is on the right track right now. That's pretty cool. What this movie's doing. Movies did great. You look at it's doing great right now. Okay, the top 10 charts, and this is the top 10 charts and the top 10 movies that's out there right now, domestically first. So I can go domestic and then I'll go international. Well, actually, total, it doesn't matter. It's added to it. So we're gonna go down the list. Shang Chi and the Shang Chi or Shang Chi, and the Legend of Ten Rings, number one, 4 day total. Now has changed is 94 million. Okay. Two, Candyman, which came out last week. That was number one movie last weekend. Now a number two movie this weekend. That means this movie got some gonna have a leggy experience as well because people are showing up for this movie. In total, uh, box office receipts is 41.3 million. That's 2 weeks. That's within 2 weeks. So that means that going forward from this week, this weekend to next week, Candyman and right now Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi, they're gonna be battling. You know what I'm saying? Until any new releases come out this year. I mean, this weekend. I don't know which one come out this weekend, but we will find out. So number three, Free Guy, which is in its fourth week, is already totaling 94 point 94.3 million in 4 weeks. So this movie is doing great. Ryan Reynolds has a massive hit on his hands, regardless. It's in the pandemic era. Is doing business and hitting 100 million used to be like chump change to certain these movies and studios. You know, some of these movie studios it just be like 100 million first opening weekend on the first 5 days, and it's like that without the pandemic involved. Now that the pandemic is involved, it's like it's going back to normal. Now it's hitting $100 million. It's a big success for the movie. That's what it looks like to me. So pretty rad, pretty cool. Pretty rad, pretty cool. Pretty rad, pretty cool. All right, number four is Paw Patrol, where I thought this was going to be bigger than where it is, but hey, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. 3 weeks has been now, and also is available on Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus. So total receipts, box office receipts in 3 weeks is 31.5 million. That's typical business for a family movie during this pandemic era. So Paw Patrol is actually doing well, and 3,004 theaters is pretty decent for a movie in that caliber and what it's doing. So when it comes on pay per view or demand and whatever Paramount Plus, whatever who owns Paramount Plus and whoever want to watch this movie, it's going to make up his money at home DVD sales, digital sales. The money's gonna be made back up for this movie. So pretty impressive for Paw Patrol at number four. Number five. Number five. Jungle Cruise. I think everything that Dwayne Johnson does, it turns into gold, don't it? Jungle Cruise. Man, total of Jungle Cruise, and also on Disney Premiere, Disney Plus Premiere. Right now, it's been out for 6 weeks, and it's the number five movie on the top 10 list, and it's been out for 6 weeks, and its total is 106 million.9. So, man, Dwayne Johnson, they look for rags to riches, right? From rags to riches, he's doing his thing. Everything he plays in, besides Skyscraper, which was trash, and Rampage to me, which was trash, and I think that's the only two movies in the rock era of his this new rock era that was trash to me because they copycat clones of other movies. So I'm not gonna get into that. So, but he's doing great business for Disney, and there's a sequel, new Rumen Real. The sequel is coming out soon, so The movie's doing great things for Disney and Seven Bucks Production, which is Dwayne Johnson's, excuse me, Dwayne Johnson's production company with his ex-wife. So right now they're doing well in production, and he's getting paid. Trust me, this man is getting paid. Now, number six, Don't Breathe 2. I haven't seen part one, so I can't really talk about this movie because I really don't watch horror movies. So it is what it is. Well, actually, I hate that phrase too. So I don't watch horror movies, so wouldn't begin to go. I know what the movie's about, and I know I'm tracking what the movie's about, how much it did, and what's going on with the movie. Watching the trailers, but actually watching the movie itself, I don't really stand for a lot of gore and guts spilling everywhere and murder and blood. So, I kind of grew up from that era. So back to Don't Breathe 2. Been out for 4 weeks. Total is 28.5 million, and that's pretty cool for a movie in this caliber. I guarantee it was had a low budget. Now it's making this budget back and maybe profit as well. So that's good for this movie. Respect is number seven, starring Jennifer Hudson. Biography of Aretha Franklin. So it's pretty awesome that she's the star of that movie. Regardless of movies with biopics and stuff like that in Hollywood, it tends to be like Oscar bait for later on in the year, Oscar bait. So we'll see what happens with Jennifer Hudson. I think she already won an Oscar for Dreamgirls with Beyonce and Eddie Murphy. So she's moving along in her acting career and singing career. But we'll see what Oscars or what nominations this movie will get when Oscar season comes back around. So right now, total 22.5 million, week four. So it's making money. It made its money for this biopic, for the type of caliber movie that it is. It's making money. Number 8. Mm-mm-mm. Number 8. The Suicide Squad. Now, I watched this movie on HBO Max. I didn't go to the theaters. I didn't contribute to the dollar bills going to the movie theater to watch this movie, because if I had to go to the theater to watch this movie, I had to take my children, and this movie is not for children. So I had to watch this with my wife. Had to watch this, and we had fun watching it. It was funny, a lot of gore, a lot of blood, but overall, it was a good time. James Gunn unleashed his rated R side again, you know, and he pretty much made it like, I didn't say a horror movie, but it was a funny movie and a good time watching the Suicide Squad. Um, Compared it to part one or the first Suicide Squad, because it's not direct sequel, or it's a sequel reboot, or a reboot sequel, whatever you want to call it. So part one, I did like part one. Part one is not bad to me. The extended cut, the um, additional scenes that added to the extended cut made the movie boring. So I like the theater version, and because the action was flowing and faster. So I appreciate the theater cut of the first Suicide Squad. Now the second one, James Gunn, I don't think there is going to be director's cut. The movie's rated R. I think that's what hurt it in the long run. But you want DC to really shine. You want DC to really come to play. Their movies, to me, all of them has to be rated R, because it's not DC. DC's a rated R style product, rated R star market for their comic books, TV shows, cartoons, the mature audience. DC's more mature. You get what I'm saying? More mature than in that level to Marvel. You get what I'm saying? Comparing those two, DC's more has a more mature nature towards what Marvel does with their properties. So yeah, the Suicide Squad was a good time, and in this 4 day, it made 1.132 million dollars for 4 days. Total is to date is 54.6 million. Week five, currently on HBO Max. So this movie was a good movie. It has a high Rotten Tomato score, which we'll get to in a few seconds. But right now, or a few minutes. But right now, it's number 8, so it's still part of the top 10, and it didn't make to me profit or made enough money domestically to break it even. That's the word for break even. So I think they lost money on this one, but at the same time, you see the direction they're going, and it's going to help the DCU go further on in the future if they want to compete with anything Marvel has to offer. So number 9, speaking of Marvel, Black Widow. Right now, 4 day total was 893,000 for 4 days. Total is 182.6 million, and that's been out for a week 9 weeks. So it's still the number one movie in America right now. Total grossing right now. Um, domestically. That is domestically, and right now that's pretty cool for Marvel, and it's also on Disney Plus Premiere, and it's crazy, man. It's crazy because this movie is still making money. It's number nine, but it's still making money even on Disney Plus Premiere. It's still making money, and then on digital sales, it's going to gain its budget back. It's going to break even, and hope Scarlett Johansson and Disney come back to terms with one another and work with another project. Because rumors are that she might be headed to DC and stuff like that. So pretty impressive right there. And I just think that I hope that's not the case. Hope she stay a Marvel. Marvel characters are going back and forth. DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel, DC, Marvel. But I think this move right here will make it faster, make it very fast for her to go over. Because I think she's not done with the superhero thing. Excuse me. I don't think she's done with the superhero genre. So we're gonna see what she do and how it comes to play when it comes to her returning to any type of superhero role ever in Hollywood. Now, number 10, Night House. I never heard of this movie. No, don't know anything about it. So sorry. But right now it's been out for 3 weeks. It must be a Sundance Film Festival movie or indie movie, which the way it looks like and the way the money's making this what it looks like. Limited edition, limited, review. So 4 days, it made 674,000. That's pretty cool to me too, because I'm not making that much money. So my content is not up there. So I'm not bashing anything of none of these movies on this list. How much they're making? They making money. So that's all. That's what it's all about, making money. Right now, for total haul for the whole entire movie is 6 million, 6 million point four, 6.4 million. Excuse me. Only been out for 3 weeks, and that's probably a big triumphant milestone for this movie, because this movie probably made less than 600,000, 400,000, 100,000 to make, or maybe a million to make this movie. Excuse me, and it's already at 6 million. So they probably have their budget back and more, and it's a multiplier. So you know that's pretty good for movies like that. So these top 10 movies are pretty much what's out there right now. Don't know what's being released this coming weekend. So we'll keep an eye on that going forward, and we're gonna be continue to look at other things that this movie can consist of. Because I'm telling you guys, to do business the way these movies are doing, and not really, people are not really really paying attention to. I'm telling you right now, with a pandemic era, and these movies are doing sensational business. Sky's the limit for Hollywood right now. The sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. Okay, now check this out. This is the fun stuff right here. The top 10 movies of all time. Not all time. Top 10 movies that's playing right now this weekend. I'm going to the Rotten Tomato score, and when I get to the opportunity to get there, I will share it. So I know right now, these movies, Rotten Tomato score, some are high and some are low, and some of these movies, you know, it's crazy that how what they're saying about these movies and how they're saying about these movies compared to the critic score. The critics themselves impacts the movie when it comes to their review of the movie. Then once the review of the movie is put out there, the embargo is lifted up. Now here comes the fans. Here comes those there are has secret screenings of the movie, audience testing the movies, and they give out their opinion of the movie. It can kill a franchise or kill a movie straight off the bat before it's open. So the fans like me, I don't go by just a critic review because I'm a critic myself, but I go by what the movie is consist of: story, character, plot, editing, and mostly production. That's my pet peeve what I look at. So if this movie looks great and it has a great story, but I keep saying but when the movie got good story and the editing kills that thing, kills the movie, kills the flow, to me that what hurts the movie worse is the production and the editing part versus the movie being made for its whole as a whole. So that's where I'm at with that, because I'm just looking at a lot of things what Hollywood do, and when they come out with a product, they're gonna come out with it, and when the product comes out there, it's gonna give the people what they want to see or what they want to see. Certain movies that they want to see, they will talk about it and dog it out, and it will not do well at the box office. I'm telling you, it will not do well at the box office. and you'll be like, what? What's going on? What? And then all of a sudden, when you see that, you'll be like, okay, cool. I don't want to see this movie because of what they're saying. What they're saying. So you were like, huh? So that's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. The crazy part is when we have a mindset made up to go see these movies, we're going to see it. It doesn't matter what the critics are saying. Does not matter what the critics are saying. And to that degree, guys, huh, it's funny. Right now, the Rotten Tomato scores for Free Guy is 81%, and that movie is the reason why the movie is still out there because it's a great Rotten Tomato score. And then Shang Chai, however you want to pronounce it, 92% fresh. Free Guy, 91% fresh. Candyman, 85% fresh. Man, they like that movie. They like that movie a lot. Like that movie a lot. So those are top three so far, and certified fresh. And right now, it's crazy that that what drives a movie to be successful now. And let's go on so we can find the rest of them. So we already got the top three. Don't Breathe 2 is 41%, so that's not a good fresh rating right there. Um, Let me see. There's a lot of freshness out there. What the top 10 movies that we went over? Because I had a list, but the list seems like it evaded me. So I'm looking for it right now. Let me see. Let me look. Let me look. But yes, this is how we measure the movies now. They have a certain score, a certain feel, and I'm pretty much like, well, I'm pretty much like, man, if this is what it takes for the movies to be seen and to be prejudged early, then Jesus Christ, then what in the world gonna prevent you from going? So you know, Prestige came out. That's 61, so that's good. The new Hugh Jackman movie, Reminiscence, that's dead on revival. Don't Breathe 2. I gave you that fresh score. It's not that fresh at all, but the audience gave it a fresh score. Free Guy, 81% fresh. Respect, 67% fresh. And obviously the audiences love it too because it's 95% fresh. So the Suicide Squad, James Gunn Suicide Squad, 91% fresh, and the audience 82% fresh. But accepted fresh. I call it fresh. Audience approval rated. But the movie didn't do nothing in the box office. Okay, Old, man, dead on arrival. So it's crazy, man. Paw Patrol, 77% fresh and a 98% rating. That's great, man. That's great. So this movie should have been bigger where it was too, but it's a pandemic era. The family's not going out. To Prestige, I didn't go over that movie, but this movie is 61% fresh and 71% audience approval fresh. I'm just use that right there. Now it's going to Free Guy, Suicide Squad, Jungle Cruise, 62% fresh, 92% audience approval. Okay, so Black Widow is 79% fresh and 91% audience approval. So that's cool. That's pretty cool. So these movies are doing what they're doing because of their critic scores and Rotten Tomato scores and critics and what the fans are thinking about these movies. Um, what else? So right now, they're gonna keep making, they'll keep making the hits and making money. And like I said, rumor mill, you know, Jungle Cruise is trying to have multiple sequels, a multiple deal with this thing. So I hope it don't become a repetitive thing like Pirates of the Caribbean because wasn't really that fresh, wasn't really that all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, they had some good ones and they had some real terrible ones. So excuse me again. So moving on to the next thing. So you know it's going to be fun to see these movies going forward because I did say earlier in the year that GV versus K, Godzilla versus Kong, was my movie of the year so far. And I haven't seen, I can't compare them to each other, or not trying to compare them to each other, but I can't see which movie is better than the other one to be the movie of the year to me. Right now, Godzilla vs Kong is the movie of the year right now to me. Now, movies that's coming out is Venom 2. Movies I want to check out is Venom's 2. My second most anticipated movie, this year. is Ghostbusters Afterlife. I want to check that out. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, and right now I think what Jason Reitman has did and bringing the nostalgia and the flavor back to the franchise to make a true Ghostbusters sequel to one and two, and not a spinoff, it's gonna be pretty awesome. Cause what I'm hearing so far that from the even from CinemaCon that this movie is gonna make you cry, it's gonna make you cheer. It's not perfect, but it's still good. And once you hear it, it's still good, and it brings back the flavor of the original two. That's all I need to know and hear and see for myself to watch this movie. 'Cause I know it's in good hands. And a private screening that he had with his father before he put the trailer out and all that, his father was crying in tears because of what his son put together. Because his son, he's a product of his son. The father was given the son as part of his father because he was there from one and two, and it was amazing for now the new generation, which is he's the new generation of directors, took his father's vision from the movie and now bringing the long-awaited sequel that we've been waiting for the last 30 years into play. So that's pretty cool right there, and I'm excited for to see that. It's something to whew, man, see that in action right now. See that in action, and I appreciate what he is doing for his father's legacy to continue to live on, and it's going to be a great thing for Hollywood to bring back franchises like that. Even if you just hey, I'm just gonna resurrect old franchises and stuff like that. So this franchise is beloved across the world, especially in USA, and I say America, and it's pretty awesome to hear and see. But on a little sad note, if you are a big fan of The Wire and other movies this actor played in, Michael K. Williams, known for his roles in The Wire. He was also in the female version of Ghostbusters. He played a lot of roles. He died yesterday, and he was sorry as a Madonna backup singer, backup dancer, excuse me. And he even Tupac's backup dancer. He was everywhere, and he played a lot of things and a lot of roles. He's Omar Ludo. That's his character that he got famous from the HBO's The Wire. He passed away, yesterday. That was Monday, 54 years old. And if you and his life and his career was celebrated by those that knew him, those that understood his craft and his ways of doing things. You know, I, he would be missed from his fans and those that cherish his acting career. We pray for his family. We pray for if he has children that they would be well taken care of. That this man left a legacy for many generations to come, especially actors that seen the type of acting that he portrayed and in all these shows and all his acting roles. He was loved by a lot and adored by a few. But so reaching out to his family, we're praying for his family, praying for every man, a woman, and child assigned and then connected to his career in Hollywood and in his family. We our condolences and in this grieving time, we pray to the Father that He ease their pain and grieve them and touch them at this moment because there's a purpose for everything. And our wishes and best wishes is out to his family, and we plead nothing but the blood of Jesus over you guys, and hope you, in your grieving moment, you reminisce over his good times that he had in the earth versus any other bad time that he had in the earth. So to the Williams family, Michael K. Williams, was a great actor, nominated 5 times for Emmy Awards. He struggled compared to Deadline.com's article with drugs here and there, but he cleaned up and he moved on with his life. So you know it's pretty accomplished career that he had, and he also played in Lovecraft Country, last year's Lovecraft Country, excuse me, and then the night of Boardwalk. He was in Broadwalk Empire. If you remember that show from HBO, Broadwalk Empire. He was finishing a role in there. Freddie Knight was his name in that one in limited series, The Night of. Jack Lee and Busy, and he played a lot of characters. He played a lot of characters. So, shout out to his family. Our condolences over here at thebottomline.com. Um, enough said. Our condolences and pray that you get through the grieving period swiftly, swiftly, swiftly. Whew, is that time of year, and right now, all of the colleagues is wishing out to him their best and for him and everything else. So everything's going to be okay for his legacy because he has a legacy. So when you see actors, when actors have, you see them being celebrated in the media, that means that they had a prestigious career in Hollywood and they were very respected in Hollywood, regardless of what their personal life consists of. But when they're on camera or behind the scenes or part of the production, they're maxing out their character and their worth. And when you have friends and family that comes out and speak out on your behalf in the media, articles and stuff like that, that means your career was very, very, very well documented and watched, and you was a very crowd pleaser to your fans. So Michael K. Williams and to your whole family, God bless you and speedy recovery from, in Jesus' name, amen. All right, and now, whew, this is crazy, right? A lot of Hollywood vets, coming out the woodwork, retirement, and making movies now. From the great Sean Connery when he was in his prime before he transitioned a few years ago, and to a lot of actors I didn't know passed away. As looking at their bios, I'm like, when did they die? But hey, that's their private life, and they want to keep it that way. And then that's part of society and part of the way of living in Hollywood. When you get older, from whatever year, whatever age you start making movies, even what kind of parts of showbiz that you started making movies, music, whatever, you start from humble beginnings and then you come up to the big time, and guess what? Bam, bam. That's where you're remembered if you're remembered by the people and you had a great sense of humor, attitude about yourself, professionalism. That's the word we're looking for. Professionalism in your craft goes a long way. So back to the world, back to the movie world, outperformed and hit every expectation that the movie had for itself. So I'm going to see it when I get opportunity. You can check out my Instagram.com, LDBTV, LJ. That's my Instagram. Twitch. I'm also on Twitch. I'm a gamer. Twitch.tv/LDB30002. And then if you like the shop, you come to Spread Shop, LDB Media Core dot myspreadshop.com. If you want the shop, support the vision, support the vision. That's where we do our thing. And then if you want to, now I'm gonna say this, then if you want to, I'm also on Spotify. And when I'm on Spotify, open.spotify.com, you can find my podcast up there. The bottom line is up there. And if you can't find it just by searching, just type in LAJON BOYD. My name will come up, and then you'll see my podcast, and you'll see all the episodes up there. And you'll see everything that we had touched on. We talk about movies. We talk about, the COVID-19 thing, football, Cam Newton, and, just society, love, just everything. Just check out the episodes up there. More to come, more to be downloaded and posted. So support us as we go forward, because we do have a production team, and we are taking those talents and we're going to use it to the best of our ability to glorify the kingdom of God and the kingdom of heaven, and then represent the Father in heaven well. So, I'm a believer, and I'm going to speak every time about my belief and my faith when it comes down to it. Not just killing time, but guys know, yes, it's more than movies, but also we still could have opportunity to balance ourselves and enjoy what we can enjoy while we can. I think that's the bottom line right there. It's all good, but you got to be real on your shows. So I'm gonna be real, and that's how we do it. That is how we do it. All right, guys. This has been the bottom line movie news. Catch us Tuesdays through Fridays weekly, and we're gonna continue be strong and mighty, and continue to pray for the nation, pray for you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming, and we'll see you soon. The bottom line, weekdays on LDB TV, presented by LDB Media Corp.